scale out the data. Now, within a SQL-based RDBMS, right? Within an RDBMS, what are the options available to scale out? Now, one common way to scale it out is using a technique like we saw for web server or an application server, which is load balancing. Some of the RDBMS provide this facility. Like for example, Oracle has an Oracle RAC, which allows you to load balance the loads between different Oracle nodes. But unfortunately, this is not available in a lot of RDBMS. Even the popular RDBMS like SQL Server, MS SQL does not have it. So the advantage of going for an inherent load balanced RDBMS is it's extremely easy from a development perspective. You don't have to really take care of the pain of load balancing at your development, be it architecture, be it design, be it coding. It's more handled at the hardware level. But then it's very expensive and it's not too very easy to implement and maintain. So those are the disadvantages of going with that. So what is the other mechanism that if you don't have the capacity or capability to load balance in the RDBMS that you choose, and you don't really want to shell out a lot of money? So what is it that you can use to scale out your database? You would be able to do it using a principle called sharding. So sharding is splitting your load or the data in a table horizontally, that is by rows. So if you have millions of records, what you could do is you could split it to multiple servers. Say first X number of rows is in server 1, the next X number of rows is in server 2, and so on. So what happens is the load, you are writing an algorithm to split the load to 3 different servers or 4 different servers. Alright. So it's important to find the proper partitioning technique in order to do that. So you should have some logical separation within your row itself. For example, in a SaaS-based multi-tenant system, the tenant ID or the tenant identifier could be a very easy partitioning key to be able to separate out the load. Right? It's important because the rows within one shard should be able to be quite close enough so that all the requests mostly go either to server 1 or server 2 or server 3. Otherwise, if all your requests is going to span all the 3 databases, the load is actually not going to be balanced. So hence, it's extremely important that you rightly choose what you're going to partition with and what is the key based on which you're going to shard. Now, what are the cons of going with it? You obviously need some development effort in order to build such sharding and implementing in your application. So if you have to implement in your application, you need to actually do some kind of design level changes or implementation level changes in order to achieve it. But the advantages it is completely under your control. You would be able to manage it, and it is also cost effective. Some of the consideration for sharding: the sharding key needs to be determined carefully. You could use a read-only database for reports and shard only the transactional data, so that way you would be able to very easily split the load for read-only, and only for transactional data you could go for a technique of sharding. So you need to actually have a lot of implementation considerations as well. For example, between 2 shards, you cannot actually query the data. You wouldn't be able to reference 2 shards in your query. Certain RDBMS like MS SQL provides you techniques like distributed views, partition distributed views, which gives you a integrated view of all the shards. So you could use such techniques to make your development faster when you go for shards. Similarly, in some data stores like SQL Azure, there are federation services available that are completely abstract the concepts of shards, and the development is also quite easier with that. So you could either look at the capability of such service, which in order to fasten your development, and then also be able to scale out your database. Shards, use it only when it is necessary, because otherwise it could prove to be a performance overhead. And also when you want to rebalance your shards, for example, now today you have on server 1 50,000 records, and server 2 you want to move some of the records to server 2. You should follow some design principles like the choice of the primary key, etc. should be properly analyzed when you want to rebalance the rows between the shards. So these are some of the considerations that one has to take when you choose to shard the database. So as a summary, what are the ways to scale out? The first choice is you either have you either can go for a NoSQL based database or a SQL based database. So based on your application need, you need to choose one, or you could even go for a hybrid based on the requirement. Within your RDBMS, you would be able to scale out either using the principle of load balancing as available in few RDBMS like Oracle RAC is what helps you in load balancing, or within the other sectors of RDBMS like MS SQL, MySQL and so on, you could use the principle like sharding, right? So this is how generally you would be able to scale out the database layer. Now we looked into how you would be scaling out a web layer, an application layer, and also a database layer. Now there's one more layer that people do not give enough